Hi, I'm Sharon Zuckerman, and I'm a principal designer for the Barbie Collector Group. Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the making of the Titanic Barbie doll. The first thing I was able to do while designing the Titanic Barbie doll was actually go over to the Fox wardrobe department and see the real Titanic dress. And I was able to shoot some quick shots of the dress while there, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. After seeing the real dress in person, I then had to come back to my office and figure out how to actually execute this in Barbie scale. So the first thing I did was I picked out all these great fabrics. The real dress had all these beautiful charmeuses and point esprits and netting. It also had all this great beading, but how do you make that work at Barbie scale? I had to figure out and use fringe to make the beading work. Make a glitter print for the top where the actual beading was. I did these sketches to show my pattern maker like where I wanted everything, what colors went where. I then did flats of the actual dress that shows where all the fabrics go. So it points out where the glitter printed charmeuse, the point esprit, the black glitter edge, and the metallic fringe go. I give this to my pattern maker. She then makes all these little Barbie scaled patterns. There's the front of the dress, the side of the dress, the top of the dress. Here's the train. She then gives it to the sample makers and they sew up the first doll. And this is the first attempt at a prototype. The next step in the design process is actually picking out the sculpt and the hair for the doll. I go through all the Barbie sculpts to figure out what the perfect sculpt would be for the Titanic Barbie doll. I work very closely with our hair design department to come up with the perfect color hair for our Barbie doll. For this doll, I chose a red. I have all these great red colors to choose from. I then work with the face design department to come up with the most beautiful color palette for the doll. Do you believe it takes all these colors to create our beautiful Barbie doll? And now I have a really big surprise for you. This is so cool. We're in the back lot of Fox Studios. They've given us an all-access pass to see the wardrobe department. Come on, let's check it out. I'm standing here with Mike, who's the head of wardrobe at Fox Studios. Mike, I'm standing in what seems like thousands of costumes. It's actually quite overwhelming. Can you tell me something about where we are?
Well, the main wardrobe here at Fox is 35,000 square feet of aisles filled with clothes like this. There's well over 1 million articles in the building. And in fact, we're standing right here in front of the Titanic section.
Wow, look, this is Titanic costumes. This is so cool. There's so much stuff here. I mean, I wish you could see how vast and amazing this really is. So now I'm in one of the main workrooms of the Fox Studio wardrobe department. And as you can see, I'm surrounded by all these beautiful costumes that are the real costumes from the film Titanic. The first dress I'm going to show you is actually the boarding dress. And this is the dress that Rose wore when she first boarded the ship. And a really interesting thing about this dress is when you're watching the movie, it actually appears to be blue. But this is actually purple velvet. The next dress I'm going to show you is called the flying dress. This is the dress that Rose was wearing when she and Jack were on the bow of the ship, when Jack says that infamous line, "I'm the king of the world." Some of the interesting detailing that you miss while watching the movie is she has this great embroidery and lace detailing. Another dress that Rose wore in the movie is this dress right here. This is the dress she was wearing while on the deck, and Jack was showing her his sketches. Some of the great detail on the dress is this yellow jacquard, the lace detail, and there's this great carving on this belt of roses. The last dress I'm actually going to show you is the dress we chose for our beautiful Barbie doll. This is the dress that Rose was wearing when she first met Jack, and Jack saved her life. This dress actually has tons of great detailing, and some of the details I'd like to point out is this beautiful hand-beaded bodice. Along the top of the bodice, she has this incredible Rochelle lace. Then if you notice these incredibly jeweled buttons that lead down to this beaded point esprit that also leads into the beautiful train. Along the bottom of the dress, you'll see 2 rows of round beading with beaded trim. Another great thing I got to see while viewing the dress are the shoes that Rose actually wore in the movie. So now you finally get to see our beautiful Titanic Barbie doll. Some of the greatest challenges I faced while designing a doll has to do with scale and detail. I had to really decide what was the most important details to focus in on, so I chose her bodice and the bottom of her dress. How I was able to achieve these details was through a glitter-printed charmeuse, Rochelle lace, point esprit netting with glitter edging, and this great glitter detail on the circles. Another thing we were able to capture is this period hairstyle and soft makeup. So now I'm back here talking with Mike. Mike, how long have you been working in the costume department?
Well, I've been head of the department and in charge of the Fox Wardrobe Archives for 14 years.
The one thing I notice about this, especially about the Titanic costumes, is the pristine condition they're in. And considering the movie was done over 10 years ago, it's amazing. How do you keep them like that?
Well, they're stored in the dark to protect the colors. They're covered all the time in garment bags with acid-free tissue. And we do the same with the shoes to keep their shape, and the same with the hats.
Don't you also have to keep it at a certain temperature in the room?
Yeah, we try to keep it as cool as possible.
So while I was walking through the costume room, I noticed that there are rows and rows of Titanic costumes. How many costumes were actually used in the movie?
Oh, hundreds were made and also purchased.
And are there duplicates of these costumes, or are these the only ones?
The principal costumes are almost always doubled, at least.
And I also remember you talking about that there were multiple costumes from the closing scene?
Yeah, Rose's dress at the end, there was like 16 or 18 of them made, and that was because of the water sequence.
So you had to keep changing her dress every time you did a cut?
Well, and also the fact that they've started to fall apart being in the water.
Oh, that's unbelievable. So the costumes used in the movie, were they actually accurate to the time period?
Yeah, in pre-production they spend a lot of time doing research and getting pictures from magazines, catalogs, newspapers.
Do they actually sketch out the dresses?
After they make a decision on what the character is going to wear, then they make sketches and have it approved by the director.
So it's really similar to what we do in Barbie dolls.
Very close, yes.
And did you ever think that you'd be involved in a Barbie doll project?
No.
So how was it? Did you enjoy it?
It was fun.
I hope you enjoyed that behind-the-scenes look at the Fox Studio wardrobe department. And now for my favorite part of the design process, the final result. And here's our Titanic Barbie doll. I had so much fun. Until next time, see ya!